Good day, wherever you're watching from. My name is Sami Emmanuel Numa, and this book is an interesting ebook which I want to bring to your attention. It is focused on the use of AI prompts by employees. Whether you are a rookie or a professional, I can assure that this book is just for you. Artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, and all the tools we have out there, DeepSeek, Kimi, and Co are actually game changers when it comes to individual productivity at work. In fact, from where I sit, I understand that managers are also using AI, business owners are using AI, and drawing attention towards integrating this technology towards improved productivity. So the problem is not the use of AI, because AI will definitely deliver on productivity. But then the question is the question of how do you actually use artificial intelligence, especially with large language model, to be able to deliver on your productivity objectives. Now, we are coming from a history where everybody is used to Googling it. So you go on Google, you ask your question, and then you get an answer. Now, if you do that in the workplace, it's going to work, right? If you apply it to the use of ChatGPT, you just go out there or have a letter to write, you type it, it's going to give you something generic you can work with. But then the problem is that that is just not enough. Because if you must be a high flyer, if you must be super productive on your job, if you must demonstrate competence, then you should be able to use artificial intelligence beyond approaching it as another tool like Google, right? So how do you utilize artificial intelligence effectively to make a difference on your job? And the key, from what I've discovered, is the use of prompts. So AI can do anything in artificial intelligence, and that's what we can see in the world today, is the fast evolution of artificial intelligence. But then your ability to prompt plays a critical role in what value you can get from AI. See, about 2-3 years ago, I used to be very skeptical about the use of AI. Sometimes in 2024, when I saw a couple of managers adopting AI to an extent, I actually felt, why are they using AI? It's going to kill your productivity. You spend the last 10, 12, 11 years of your work experience building competence. So why would you at this point now feel you need to now submit everything to AI and work based on AI? But then what I found along the line is that you need to cut down the time you waste on repetitive tasks. And to cut down that time so that you can focus on other strategic functions would require that you focus on AI or you integrate AI. It also implies that you're having difficulty with your work, things that will basically require research, AI will help you through. So my understanding now is that artificial intelligence would not replace the conventional professional as the case may be. It could not. But a large extent is going to disrupt how you're going to work. So your ability to align with that disruption will determine whether AI is a plus or AI is a minus. So whether AI is a plus for you or a minus on your career is a function of how well you are able to use it. So let's go in. So this book is an AI prompt for high performance at work. In fact, if I have to write this again, maybe another version, I'll target AI prompt for super performance at work, because that's basically what it is for. And it's a definitive playbook. So I have the ebook copy. I'll post a link to this book in the description. So if you need a copy of the book, you can just go to the description and have access to it. Of course, at a token, because you have to invest in yourself. No knowledge is free. And that's why even artificial intelligence have options for free and have options for the premium subscription where you're going to get value. So this is going to be a playbook for rookies and professionals. My name is Sami Emmanuel Numa, like I've introduced. I'm a corporate strategist, and I've spent the last 13 years in business development, in strategy, in operations management, and then in terms of executive support. So basically, I understand where AI can fit in, how it can fit in, and I've also seen how it has transformed people in terms of productivity in the workplace. I have an MSc in business administration, and then, of course, I ventured into quality management domain in terms of planning, doing, checking, and acting. And so I got qualified as an ISO 9001 2015 lead auditor. Basically, my experience cut across mining, healthcare, finance, technology, consulting, and it keeps expanding, including the voluntary sector. Okay, so let's look at it. So basically, what have I covered in this book? So I call it prompt route. In other words, just an innovative card to show you what prompts can do. So the first part of the book is the foundation, where I laid the ground rule and how you can use artificial intelligence to produce internal correspondences beyond going to ChatGPT to say, I have a letter to write to XYZ organization, please help me prepare a draft. That would not work if you want to actually leverage AI tools or the GPTs, as the case may be, to become a high flyer on your job. So how do you use AI to produce internal correspondences? What kind of prompts do you need to put in place, or do you need to develop to implement? Now, what I basically do is I look at my experience. If I have to prepare an internal correspondence, I give AI every information that is required for AI to give me the desired output. Now, that information stems from who is the customer I'm writing to, what is the background or the history, as the case may be, what do I intend to convey, what's the objective or intended outcome of that communication. I put all of these things in place. If I even have templates or samples of previous communication with that organization, I'm going to put all those templates and samples as a prompt. So I'll maybe to write a letter on one page, I'll have a prompt that is maybe more than one page. So at the end of the day, I feed AI because everything in terms of information technology is always a garbage in, garbage out system. So it means that if you're able to put out great prompts, you're going to get great output. If you put lazy or weak prompts, you're going to get lazy or weak output. So how do you also use AI to plan and strategize your work? Very important, because the difference between a high performing staff and a low performing staff, whether you're a rookie or a professional, the difference is your ability to plan and strategize for your work. Now, work is strategy. It goes beyond resuming and showing up in the office every day and doing some routine until the disclose of business and then you check out. What goes beyond that? There must be some element of planning and strategy relating to your work. And that's what is also covered. How do you also respond to correspondence? So you've gotten an email, or you've gotten a proposal, or there's been a chain of conversation on a particular subject, and based on this chain of conversation, you want to do a response. All the historical facts, information, and development, feelings, and perception on that particular subject needs to come into the prompt. So you see how it plays out in the book. So you have also marketing and public relations. How do you handle marketing in a responsible and competitive way? So if four organizations are going to AI to say, oh, we sell solar products, help us develop a marketing campaign, then AI is going to generate a generic marketing campaign. So you have five solar marketing companies basically using the same strategy. And so competitiveness is not there, innovation is not there, ability to convince the customer is not there. The customer is basically interacting with five brands as if they're interacting with just one brand. But there's a way you can program the story of the organization, its unique value proposition, right? The specifics in terms of the customer segmentation and target intent to address. You bring that into a prompt, you're going to get very good outcome. Then how do you use AI to produce reports? This is key. Because if you do your work, from my experience, and you're not able to report it, then you have a big problem. You should be able to do your work, plan your work effectively, execute your work effectively, and report your work effectively. If something is missing along this line, especially in terms of reporting, then you have lost it because your manager would not have a view into what you're doing, where you're having challenges, and where they need to support you. So usually, high-performing staff are staff who are able to plan, who are able to execute effectively, and who are also able to report accordingly. All right, so this will basically lay the foundation. Now, I went into advanced application of artificial intelligence, how to use artificial intelligence for research and intelligence gathering, especially for people who are managers. You can't be a manager without doing research, without gathering intelligence. Because how then do you craft a vision that you can sell to your team members? The function of artificial intelligence. And it's also a function of how you are able to prompt your way through. So AI can give you what you want, depending on the scope of the AI solution you're using, be it ChatGPT, Gemini, Kimi, DeepSeek, or depending on the tool you're using, it can give you what you want, but it's still a function of what platform are you using, what's the capacity of that platform, but more importantly, what's your ability to prompt. So data analysis and visualization is also what you can achieve from AI. So a lot of people, including the cover image you will have seen for both this ebook, the cover image you've seen for the video you're watching. If you go back to the caption image, the cover image, so generated with artificial intelligence. So you see where visualization plays a key role. You also see where data analysis also happens. I've been able to analyze customer data, market data, of course, customer data with confidentiality fully covered. So analyze customer data, analyze market trends, analyze price trends and all that to be able to generate intelligence for business. And that's what you can do with AI. Also, maybe in the last 5 years, I'll be using tools like SPSS to run those analysis. But nowadays, I can feed the raw data set on my GPT as the case may be, and it's going to run the analysis. So why do I need to spend time coding on SPSS, uploading it, running the analysis and doing all of that? It's irrelevant, you know. So data analysis and visualization is covered. How do you handle meeting and presentation preparation? So when you have meetings, how do you coordinate? How will artificial intelligence prompting help you? So it's not just, oh, I have a presentation on customer service to do, I'll have a training on customer service to do, just give me a presentation slide. If you use that approach, whether a training consultant or somebody who is heading a team and you need to train your team members, and you're using that approach, then you're using AI as If there's any word below the level of the root, that's what it is. But you can achieve so much more from it. In other words, I'm preparing for a training. How I use AI is I'm going to tell AI the challenges in my prompt. I'm going to highlight the challenges that have prompted or necessitated that training, the gaps, right? If there is any previous performance assessment done, the report of those performance assessment is going to form part of the prompt. And I'm going to integrate all of these things together to create a prompt that I can give AI and now say, use this information to develop a training material for me or a training program. And you see that whatever outcome you're going to get will be quite different from you just using ChatGPT or the GPTs, as the case may be. Let it not be as if I'm marketing for ChatGPT. Use any of the platform to program and put your information. It gives you better value. Learning and development is also key. So when you talk about training, it's also a component of learning and development. How do you address the competence and skills gap of your team members? You can bring AI into this mix. Process and workflow automation. You have very repetitive operational processes that you need to optimize. How do you create a prompt that will help you deliver on it? So one understanding I want you to get from this video, if you've not learned anything at all, is that there is a prompt for everything. And that prompt is your own way of giving AI or the GPTs, as the case may be, the sufficient information to be able to help you out is critical. So process and workflow automation. So you can, in doing this kind of prompt, let me just give you a heads up. You can describe your current process. So it goes from officer A to desk B to desk C to desk D. This is the current process. And in each of these process, at point A, this is the challenge you're facing. At point B, this is the challenge you're facing. Overall, it's going to take this total number of time for us to be able to achieve an expected outcome. Now, what you have done when you give AI such kind of prompt is that it's not going to lazy around. It's not going to hallucinate. Hallucination is one of the risks of AI, where it makes up stories or make up situations that do not exist. But those situations occur because you do not feed it accordingly. It doesn't mean that when you have a robust prompt, errors are not going to happen. Errors are going to happen. But when those errors happen, it's also important that as a professional, whether a rookie or a professional, and a very experienced professional, whatever outcome you get from artificial intelligence, you need to sit down, you need to assess it, you need to analyze it, you need to digest it. It's not enough to say, I've given AI a prompt, I've generated this report from AI, boom, you send it to your manager. You will run into extensive cracks because AI can also make mistakes. Technology can also make mistakes. It can also fail. So it doesn't absolve you from taking responsibility. I've also been a victim. I remember a time where I believed that AI could do everything. And while I was giving an update in a management meeting, I gave it statistics that I just checked on one of the AI platforms. Let me not mention the name. At the end of the day, it turned out that statistics was not true, was incorrect. And that taught me a lesson. The lesson I learned that is that whatever you need to report, which you have generated from AI, remember that you cannot cite AI. Maybe evolution in citation, patterns of citation would have addressed that gap. But as it is, AI is not like the BBC website, it's not like the World Bank website or the Central Bank of Nigeria website. It's not UK.gov website or the US Embassy website or the IMF website, as the case may be. It's not an authority. So you cannot rely on whatever outcome you get from AI 100%. So what that means is that you would need to take responsibility for whatever you report at your findings from artificial intelligence. You need to fact check it, sorry. You need to critique it. You need to be sure of what you're putting out there. Because at the end of the day, if anything goes wrong, you will have to take responsibility. And taking responsibility is not that, sorry, I got this information from AI, it's not going to work. Taking responsibility is you saying, this is my fault. I take responsibility for the consequence that will come out of it. It's all going to be on you, and you cannot hold anybody responsible. So that's another route in terms of prompting. So these are basically the 10 routes that was covered in this program. So I would just, by way of introduction, the AI-powered professional. So in 2024, I talk about the revolution because yes, artificial intelligence, GPTs have been dominating the market space for quite a while. But in terms of Nigeria or the African context, it basically started somewhere around 2023 and 2023 and 2024 was when it started kicking off importantly. But it's crucial to note that it's different in different parts of the world. So in conclusion, I included a brief of what needs to be done in terms of aligning with artificial intelligence. We cannot stop it. Imagine somebody in the 21st century who is saying that I don't need to use a laptop. Please take me back to the 60s and the 40s where they were using typewriter. such kind of person would not be fit for the 21st century. So artificial intelligence and the GPTs are the norm, and it is important for professionals to align with it. You can find the link to this, the full copy of this book. You can find the link in the description of this video. Do ensure that you check it out and have a copy for yourself and also some of your colleagues, as this will contribute to their productivity as well as their improvement career-wise. Then there's an appendix with quick reference guide, so information that is required. So you can see here, I have the introduction, why this playbook is really necessary and how to use the book. There is an overview, golden rules of AI at work. Maybe I should just talk about this. AI assists you, AI assists, and then you decide. You can never delegate your judgment to an algorithm. I've also talked about that because at the end of the day, you take responsibility for your action. You cannot say, "Oh, I got it from ChatGPT." That is an irresponsible statement to make. You would have to take responsibility for whatever you report, whether it is gotten from AI or any other place. So this is the section for the foundation, talking about correspondence, what you can use AI to do, and all that. You find those information. This is the part 3, advanced application. You know, I talked about research and intelligence gathering, both market research, competitor analysis, benchmarking, and feasibility study. This is covered as another category of route 6 of prompts, using AI for data analysis and visualization. Also based on my experience, spreadsheet analysis, dashboard narrative, KPI tracking, trend analysis. Prompt is powerful. Prompt is powerful. I'll tell you again, prompt is powerful. So if you need to use AI to enhance your job, to ensure that before the end of this year you are a star achiever in your team, then learn prompts. That's the key. Okay, prompt 8, meeting and presentation preparation, agenda, minutes, slide decks, talking points, and speaker notes. You find them all here. Learning and development. So using AI for training materials, for knowledge sharing, which is also very important. How to use AI for knowledge sharing, for onboarding and capacity building. It's power packed. Process and workflow automation. So how to use AI to develop your standard operating procedures, company policies, standard operating procedures, using AI for process mapping, task automation, and change management. Everything you need to do in terms of the requirement gathering, coming up with a prompt, and all those things. How your prompt should be written is also covered here. Then we have a sample prompt that is provided, some guide on some AI platforms and co. This is just for you. How many pages? Not too much, 52 pages. So you can read it while you're driving to work. You can play it on audio. If you have an app on your phone that's able to read ebooks for you, so you can play it on your phone. You can study it at your convenience. Just get used to it, because at the end of the day, AI is the game changer, and it's important that staff who want to excel in it would integrate AI appropriately. So click the link below, get a copy of the book, and thank you later. Also, do not hesitate to share your thoughts. What has been your experience with the use of artificial intelligence so far? Has it really improved your productivity or not? What challenges do you face? Then have you encountered the use of prompts in your respective career? If you've been implementing prompts, what has your experience been like, and how has it made the difference for you in terms of the period where you were not using prompts appropriately and the period where you started using prompts? Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.